Alright, camera is rolling, sound's rolling. We're doing Job Guys now.
Job Guys, we do the jobs others don't. This is Janet, how may I help you?
We're the Job Guys. We're here to job for you.
How do you light a garage on fire, or throw a guy out a window, or hit a girl with a car? Hello everyone, my name is Brook Hubbs, and I am the director and visual effects artist for Job Guys. Job Guys is a 12-episode series about a pair of brothers who are struggling to run their own gun-for-hire business. When they enlist the help of a secretary, antics ensue.
This is gonna be bad.
Job Guys debuted on Amazon Prime back in 2020 and is now available to watch on YouTube for free.
Really? Yeah.
I had a lot of hats on this project. I was the director, I was the cinematographer, I edited everything, I did visual effects, I did the graphics, I did the poster, I did the trailers, I acted in it. I played a puppet. I was this guy. And I was everybody's favorite driver, D-Dog.
That's right.
Job Guys was a really fun project to do and is probably the biggest thing I had ever done up until that point. Now, because so much of Job Guys was shot guerrilla style, there was a lot of boring visual effects like blurring out addresses and license plates. We had to replace signs, and some of this was fun from a creative aspect, but most of it was pretty tedious. The very first thing that we ever shot for Job Guys was just the main characters goofing around on a green screen. Initially, this was used to promote Job Guys, but it ended up being used for the opening title sequence of every episode. The first visual effects shots that I worked on was the chase scene between Herman and their previous receptionist, played by Daniel. I added what I would describe as a Guy Ritchie-esque effect. It's sometimes referred to as a locked on or locked off. Locked on, locked off. Not to be confused with this Guy Ritchie effect.
Oh yeah!
We toyed around with the idea of having a few cold opens in the show. This scene exists entirely just as a funny joke because I had an asset that was just bees.
That is not a reason!
In episode 3, Herman misinterprets cleaning up a crime scene and decides to light the garage on fire. So this was all done digitally. And for a little bit of fun, we added the reflection of the fire in Herman's eyes with a little bit of heat distortion. And for the shot of Herman standing in front of the garage, we just shot him on a collapsible green screen real quick in the same lighting as the outdoor environment.
Yeah. I couldn't help it.
For the shot where Dominick and Janet pull up to Janet's apartment and Dominick steps out of the car, I actually ended up stitching two different shots together set to different exposures. And when you see the car door slide past the characters' faces, that's where the shot transitions. And now for Dave's favorite shot. Now, the character played by Clayton was supposed to be initially just thrown into Dominick's car, but I had a funny idea. I said, what if we threw him out of the window? We shot him on a green screen, just pretending to fall. It gets a big laugh.
Nice.
When we cast Sarah for the role of Kay Andrews and shot her on a green screen, I ended up turning it into a commercial for the character, which I thought was a cool way to kind of set up this character. And we had our friend Lauren Lippman play the host of the sequence called Celebrity Jazz.
This is you taking out Kay?
Now for this, we had a couple of different reveals of Herman. We wanted to show that he was misusing a laser sight on his gun by actually holding it in the wrong hand. So the laser was added in post. Now there's a little visual effect in this shot of Dominick as he gets up to investigate the gunshots. We moved past a mirror, and originally you could see me holding the camera in the reflection of the mirror. Thankfully, we had a separate shot of Herman that we didn't use for the final cut, and I was able to put this into the reflection of the mirror instead.
I think it's kind of cool.
Now, episode 7's the big action episode. Obviously, we weren't using real guns, so all of the gun visual effects that you see, as well as the wall damage and little sparks here and there, that was all added digitally. Herman hiding behind the metal railing and having every gunshot hit the bars and not him, it's ridiculous, and I love it. It was my idea.
Well, Merry Christmas.
We do have this fun shot of Herman where he's supposed to be reacting to a number of illegal substances that he took all at once. So for this, I expanded his pupils considerably. He ends up in the hospital, and for the shot of him escaping the hospital, I added an ambulance to the side of this building to make it look like a hospital. He's gonna go all the way up there. A rival team has taken them down, and Janet responds by grabbing the whiteboard off the wall and smashing it over Vulture's head. For this shot, we had a real whiteboard and one that I had already smashed a hole inside of, and then stitched together by editing, we had one shot where Lisa swings the intact whiteboard, and then a second shot where the cutout version just simply drops onto her shoulders. We were very careful with this to make sure she wasn't cut by accident. And then on a green screen later, I just kind of threw the shards up in the air until we had some that looked good, and then comped those in on top of the smash itself. Now for the effect of the flashbang going off, I did this all in camera. I think I pulled out every single light that I owned and aimed them at every window in the apartment, and then just cut together the shot with no lights to the shot with lights, and it looks pretty good.
Oh, hey!
I also replaced Kevin's phone for this shot where he calls a hero car. Most of this was drawn digitally and comped together, and then tracked onto Kevin's phone. Have you seen this the whole time? The whole time it's been right here. Now for the big closer. Sage gets hit in the face with a grenade. This was done all in camera. Just when the grenade was thrown at her face, I just had her hold her hand up in front of her head so that it would bounce off right here, and then digitally just kind of brought it a little bit closer to her face. Vulture escapes out the front door. Yours truly, D-Dog, hits her with the car. First of all, we had Jessica running away and then reacting to Kevin turning on the headlights of the car as if the car is coming right at her, and she just freezes like this. Then I had Kevin driving the car, and he rolled up on the curb real quick and stopped. Now the problem is you see that Kevin's the one driving the car. So later on a green screen, I shot myself pretending like I was driving a car and comped myself in over Kevin, and then digitally comped those together and had Jess just kind of fly off camera.
And mission accomplished.
And then the show closes out on another green screen commercial. This one was done intentionally bad to make it look like the job guys either did it themselves or hired a real cheap guy to make the commercial for them. And it's just a fun way to end the show.
Now, gotta go take a shower.
I hope that you've enjoyed listening to a breakdown of some of the visual effects that I did for Job Guys, and I hope that you go watch Job Guys if you haven't already. Like I said, it's available on the Digital Myth YouTube channel, and I'm still working on projects with Dave and Kevin and a bunch of the cast to this day. Having finished the project almost 3 years ago, it's easy to look back and say that's not my best work, but it helped me get to where I am today, and I'm only trying to improve with each project that I make.
You're hired.
If you have seen Job Guys, comment below who your favorite character from the show is, and if you want to see me do breakdowns for any more projects I've worked on, doesn't have to be visual effects, let me know as well. Until next time, good job, guys. Okay, cutting.
Judging by where this scene goes, it could definitely lead to a porn, but